Assalamu alaikum. This is Imam Daayiee Abdullah, Executive Director of MECCA Institute. MECCA Institute is an online organization that utilizes education and research to promote a progressive and inclusive Islamic theological philosophy for Muslims living in Western secular societies. I was born in 1954 in Detroit, Michigan, the same year that Brown v. Board of Education was ruled by the U.S. Supreme Court, which desegregated public schools. By the time that I entered school at the age of 4 or 5, I was able to understand more clearly why education was so important, and I took my education very seriously. And after studying mainstream education, several years later, I felt that I needed to do something that would make me feel better and that it would help me fulfill my inner goal of helping people. So after several days of prayer and meditation, I was envisioned to study Chinese. Having always followed the visions that I had had in the past, I sought out schools that taught Chinese. Shortly thereafter, I found myself at Beijing University continuing my Chinese language studies. Lo and behold, it was there that I ran into my friend Ma, who was a Hui Chinese, basically the ethnic Chinese who were Muslim. And it was through our many discussions during that year that he introduced me to Islam. He asked me one day, "Do you know what Islam is?" And I told him I knew about NOI, the Nation of Islam, and also the Wahhabism that had come out of Saudi Arabia. He said to me, no, the real Islam. And through our conversations, he invited me to go to the Cow Street Mosque there in Beijing. And it was there that I got an opportunity to hear a khutbah in Arabic, but also in Chinese. And when I heard the Chinese khutbah, it made total good sense to me. It was during this time that I came to understand that I needed to study Islam more. At the end of my studies in China, several months later, I was at American University in Cairo continuing my Arabic studies. After spending a year in Cairo, I went on to Jordan for an additional year at the University of Jordan, and the third year I was at the University of Damascus. After finishing those 3 years in the Middle East, I returned to the United States, graduated from school, and then entered law school. During the time I was at law school, I also did my master's program at the University of Michigan, and it was there that I started my studies in Islamic law. Combining both areas of law, after graduation, I practiced law for a few years. Not finding great satisfaction in it, I decided to return to the Middle East, and it was there that I had the opportunity to continue my Islamic theological studies. After 3 years in Saudi Arabia, I returned to the United States, and it was then that I decided it was important for me to advocate for Western Muslims to have a kinder and fuller understanding of Islam living in a secular society. Over the past 20 years, the development of an American Islam has come into fruition. Many people refer to it as progressive Islam. Progressive Islam is a form of Islam that is inclusive, and it deals with living a Muslim life in Western secular society for contemporary times. What does that mean? It means that you have the opportunity to study and reevaluate traditionalism and to apply the tenets of those things that are there, basically those things that deal with human nature, and apply them to the American context. In this light, we can be Muslims living in a Western secular society and also fulfill our goals as being Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. This is Imam Daayiee Abdullah, Executive Director of MECCA Institute. I want to take the time to thank the members of our community who have helped us with their time, talents, or money. We couldn't have done this without you. I would also like others of our community to support MECCA Institute. You can donate your time, talents, or money. May Allah continue to bless us all. Ameen.